All right, here we are at a very rainy and muddy Lollapalooza with Mr. Alan Walker. How you doing, pal?
Very good. Happy to be back here.
Happy to be back here. So how many times have you done this festy now? What number is this?
I think this is going to be my second time.
Second time. That's not bad, bro. That's not bad. And you're no stranger to festivals. I mean, that's for sure. I was reading on your cheat sheet, you've played or headlined over 700 different shows, man. 700 shows. So what makes a festival like Lolla? I love this place. You've seen obviously a lot more festivals than your average person, but what is it about Lolla that is so special?
I think what makes Lolla special is it's such a huge festival. Like you have so many different stages and so many different artists and lineup. So it kind of fits every taste and genre or what preference that someone might have. So you can catch anything.
Anything, really. I mean, the headliners over the last few years have been so diverse and come from all over the world. And that's one of the things I love about this is that brings in the different crowds, right? And every day there is a different audience here to see a different act. We've got so many different things to talk about, man. And your career has just obviously exploded over the last, few years. I mean, you're 25, man.
Yeah.
You're 25. Do you feel like in a way you've lived like a 40, 50-year-old person's life with all of the stuff you've done?
Sometimes it's hard to kind of like take in and digest and understand like what's actually been happening for like the past 7-8 years. Yeah. It's been crazy.
So how do you digest it then? Like what tricks do you have to kind of bring yourself down to level, you know what I mean, and kind of realize where you are and appreciate where you are? Or is it hard to when you're constantly on the move? You just got in.
Yeah, I have a great team around me and family, friends like who are always there for me, and they keep me down, and I think it's really good to have like that kind of people around as well.
Yeah.
And then it's also like I look back and remember where I started off, and just grateful for like every single moment, every single stream, everything, like everyone that's like supported me throughout the entire way, and then never forgetting it. So. And
I like how you say every single stream because there's a lot of them, bro. The numbers are insane. I was looking at the list. It's 8.7 billion YouTube views. That's just YouTube. 50 billion audio streams, bro. These are ears from all around the world. Can you comprehend that?
Absolutely not. It's like that like every human on this planet has like listened to my song like 4 or 5 times. I don't know. It makes no sense.
Yeah, well, it makes perfect sense though in a way, because I was listening to some of your songs in the preparation for today, and like, you know, these songs that you've been working on for the last few years have been the sound of this festival generation's lives. Do you know what I mean? Like, these are songs that in 50 years time, when we think back to these festivals, we're going to be like, oh, I will never forget hearing that Alan Walker song. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like everyone has been growing up with my music, and now like they're all also like old enough to go attend the festivals, for example, and I think everyone also like has been waiting for like during the pandemic years to finally get back out there, especially like those that turned 18, 20, 21 years, so they can like go to the various festivals. So
what age did you start taking it back? What age because you started in your bedroom, you were watching YouTube tutorials, how to do this, how to learn. You picked it up obviously pretty quickly then. What was it like being, I guess, you must have been underage at some point coming to these festivals, right? Was that a weird concept, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so when I started making music, I was like 14 years old. Released Fade when I was 16, and then did Faded when I was like 17, about to turn 18. And then, there was many shows here in the US where for example, at least casinos, like when we played our shows here, then I would only be allowed like to come into the venue when my intro starts, and I will be immediately kicked out as soon as my show is over.
Really?
Yeah.
But now you can party it up. You can actually enjoy the festival.
Yeah, I can actually stay. I can stay and have fun.
Yeah. And the thing is, you know, these artists that you were listening to, right, when you were in your bedroom creating these early songs, you're now headlining with them at festivals. When you're in situations like that, are you able to kind of take in and learn from these greats? Do you know what I mean? Are you still constantly learning every single day from these people that you're able to see up on those stages?
Yeah, like Steve Aoki, for example, a great inspiration of mine, and also like a good friend of mine now. Like growing up listening to his music, and then now like him, Tiesto, for example, are like mentors for me, and they still are. And I'm really grateful to have had that opportunity to being like a big fan of them, to actually being able to work side by side with them.
work side by side, to say the least. And I mean, like, your credential list, bro. I mean, I was looking at some of these collabs that you've had. I mean, the names are unbelievable, and there are some more even coming up. What do you look for in a collaboration? Do you know what I mean? Like, how does that work for you? Do people reach out to artists, say, hey, I like your sound, I'd like you to jump on this remix? Like, how does that process work for you?
So people also like send in like demos and all that, but we also reach out to like various of vocalists, artists, and DJs, producers to like see if they're interested in collaborating, and that's just a way to like for us to like dive into like the huge like ocean of artists that we have, like that we can potentially collaborate with. And I think like it's very nice. Like I don't look for much as long as like for me that the vocals, for example, fits perfectly with the song. So and then that could be anyone from a large artist to even like anyone, like a small artist. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. A good vocal's a good vocal, right?
Yeah.
And you don't necessarily need a big name. When you have a name like yours, or you have a listenership like yours, you can really work with that. What does a good vocal for one of your songs need? Like, what are you looking for when you're looking for a vocalist? Because it's such a big part of the song, and I think people don't really realize just how big of a part that is. You must be looking for the perfect sound, right?
Yeah, I mean, when I look for the vocalist, it's more like it's really about the track itself. Like, does it sound like it could fit a male vocal, or is this like a definite sell on a female vocal, or could it be a duet, for example? So there's like a tons of way you could take it, and like I don't know, like I don't have like strong criteria as long as they sound good and the lyrics is good and the melody of the vocal is good.
So what keeps you inspired then, right? Because, at 25, you've been, as I say, 700 different shows all around the world. Do you ever get jaded? Do you know what I mean? Like, how do you keep those juices going?
I just write songs that I think makes me happy and that I want to hear, for example. So like I want to make melodies that I want to stick to my mind, and then I hope it sticks to the listener's mind, for example. So it's just my way of like making songs that I think that I would enjoy myself, and also it's very important for me that like I can play it on the show and also enjoy playing it for an audience.
So are you thinking when you're, wherever you are creating, because you're on the move, you're probably in hotel rooms creating songs, probably on airplanes creating songs, are you thinking when you're working like of the live element? Do you know what I mean? Are you always thinking, how is this going to translate in a festival setting? Like, is that constantly on the mind?
Yeah. Like I always think about that, but I also think like radio, Spotify listeners, like people that actually like stream the songs, because like it's going to be a different audience everywhere on every single like platform, like even with the festival. So like some songs would be great on radio, for example, because like of course we want to catch the listeners. If it works on radio, it works on Spotify, YouTube, whatever. But like a festival, it could be totally different.
Right. And how do you find that happy medium, right? Because it's tough because, your average festival song isn't the type of song that might get played on a pop radio station. Do you know what I mean? How do you find that happy medium? Or do you create different types of songs for different, places?
Yeah, so sometimes we would release the radio version, for example, and then I would make a remix of it. So then I would just release like a VIP remix of the songs. Which would just be a more up-tempo remix of the song. But that's like, usually that happens if I've had multiple ideas of the same song, and then we go for the one that's like more down-tempo, more radio-friendly, and then we also release like the one that could potentially work more on festivals, for example.
And I want to take it back to, we were talking briefly about, your beginnings and being 13 and just working on that laptop at home. At what moment did you realize, okay, I'm good at this? You know what I mean? Like, do you remember the moment where you were like, okay, I'm darn good at this?
I don't think I've ever had that moment. No, because I
feel just hoping that it connected.
Yeah, because I never did it to gain anything. I just started to make music for fun. Like I just had a genuine like interest in like how do people actually make it. So then I started playing around with it, because like before that I was playing around with programming. I made video games, websites, and then I did graphic design when I was like young. So it was like everything has been like kind of like in the same like way of like working. Like it takes like a long time to finish the product, but then I just got into making music, and it was just the pure genuine interest in learning how it's made, and then it's never been any more beyond that in my eyes, really.
And you mentioned like getting into programming and stuff when you were younger. Do you see any connection there between the programming kind of thing? Because you're working on the computer, you're making these sounds. You know, my brother does it as well, and I see him, and it's so complicated, and I'm like, wow, like there must be some sort of connection there, right?
Yeah, I usually say that it's very much similar, but it's just like at one point, like you're kind of like tweaking all the sounds until you're happy, and with the programming, you're writing the lines and like of codes and all that, and then you have to either compile it or test it out, and either it works or it doesn't. So it's kind of like the same, because like both takes a immersive amount of time.
And of course, got to talk the new single, bro. Yeah. Endless Summer with Zach Abel. It doesn't get much better than that, bro. Tell me about that. How'd that come about?
Yeah, so we had the idea that we wanted to make something more up-tempo, because like usually all my songs are very down-tempo, but then we also wanted to make something that would be a little bit different from like a very typical Alan Walker song. So then we had the idea, I was like, okay, let's make something that's more summer, because like we're coming up on the summer, and then we had the idea like, okay, let's just make a summer track, and then we started working on it, and we got Zach Abel on it, and then we were like, okay, let's lock it in. Like we made the song of the song of the summer. That's like
I believe it, bro.
Yeah, it didn't take too long. Like it's a very fast track to put together.
And that'll be in the set tonight, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad. Absolutely. Have to get all ears on Endless Summer. Absolutely. You mentioned obviously just then, like you wanted to create something that sounded different for Alan Walker. Is that something you're constantly thinking? Like, how can I push myself? How can I change? How can I evolve? How can I find that next sound? Because you don't want to get stuck in a box of, oh, this is what Alan Walker sounds like, right?
Yeah, of course. Like, I want to have like this is Alan Walker, but I also want to kind of like evolve the sound, because like, of course, like there will be Alan Walker fans who are kind of like. Always like love the OG Alan Walker sound, but there's also like the newer fan base who likes the new modern Alan Walker. So it's like you've got to find like the perfect like middle point.
Well, I like how you have that appreciation as well for, you know, the fans who do appreciate the older stuff and the newer stuff. It's nice that you're kind of thinking of everyone when creating. I'm sure the fans will be happy to hear that. Now, something that's so exciting is actually yesterday they headlined Tomorrow by Together, the amazing K-pop group, my friends. You've got a new remix of their song "Do It Like That," which is coming out, which is with the Jonas Brothers, of course. Tell me about that remix. How did that come about?
We got the remix request not too long ago. And then first I was like, this was like a tricky one to kind of like flip into something like higher, like higher temp, like dancey. So, but yeah, no, I feel like I managed to do it quite well, and I was very happy with the result. It was, of course, like a very tricky one, but I think it was a very fun project to do, and it was a good continuation with my collaboration with TXT, and after our song PS5.
And what makes a song tricky? You mentioned there, you hear a song, it was tricky. What made that song in particular hard to work with?
Because it's just like the way it's like built, and then I always like look at remix requests. It's like, okay, you're getting a remix request, and it's basically you're going to take someone's masterpiece of painting, basically, and you have to take that painting and make it better. In a way, so then that's like the tricky part of it, but it's also very fun because like you're challenging yourself as an artist and as a producer, and I think it's like it's always fun because you'll always end up being left with that you've learned a lot from just doing that remix.
And like when you get a remix request, right? No matter how big the song is, of course you had the Monster Smash with Bruno Mars. That's what I like, huge remix. How do you go about, as I say, and you kind of touched on it there, keeping the magic of that song there, right? But then also adding your spin to that. Is there a little pressure that you feel in moments like that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And it is very tricky because like it has to, of course, be good as well, because at the end of the day, like the main artist that also requested it has to approve the remix at the end of the day. So if they don't approve it, then you're back at square one.
But it's also interesting because, like, with a song with That's What I Like. It's like everybody knows that song, right? Yeah. So it's like, how do you kind of evolve that into something that, as I say, keeps that magic, but then evolves it into that next world? And you always do that well, man. Like, I think that's one of your secrets. You have the ear for it.
Yeah, and then like the main idea with those songs and remixes that I do for those songs is like just to kind of like twist them into more electronic dance music friendly. So like make them like that you can play them at a festival, for example.
Right. He's got that festival mindset. We're at the right place, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, what's next, man? Because are you thinking far into the future? Like, how far are you thinking right now? Are you just riding the train, riding the fun, you know?
I'm working a lot on, like, I think we have like 60, 70 demos that we're working on, and a bunch of collaborations that we are like then still trying to tie together.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like a lot of music projects are in the works, up in the air, and then more shows, and that's about it.
It's a lifelong thing for you, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is really, you might feel like you've been doing this for a long time, but this is just the beginning. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's sometimes when I look back and think that, like, 2016 was actually like the year when I really like got started. It's crazy to like think that like that's next year, that's 10 years ago.
It's insane, bro. And I'm 27, right? And like every time I do something that I tick off my bucket list, I just feel so achieved and pat myself on the back. Like, you've had so many of those achievements. Do you remember that first festival that you played? And then watching the video back, and you see the crazy lights, you see the pyrotechnics, you see all of that. Like, was that just a surreal moment for you?
It was definitely a surreal moment, but it was also horrible, because like I used to be like the biggest, like I don't know, I was scared of being on stages and all that. So like it was like getting out there and doing shows was definitely scary, but at the end of the day, I think it was worth it.
It was worth it, bro. And I mean, look where you are, look what you're doing. Congratulations. We're at Lollapalooza. And can't end without saying, obviously there are so many kids out there that are the same as you were, you know, working in their bedrooms, working on beats, trying to make it, trying to figure out how to make it. What do you have to say to them? How do they get here?
I would say stay true to yourself. Try to make something that's different in a matter of that, like, it sets you apart from everybody else, because like there's a huge immersive like competition out there. There's like 10-20,000 tracks almost coming out every single day. That means that means like the door isn't open for very many, but like still, like if you have the passion and if you have the drive for it, it's a journey. It could be long, it could be quick to get like the key to open that door, like just stay true to yourself, build yourself a fan base, and work hard and play hard.
I think that's the perfect advice, you know, staying true to yourself and working hard, because if there was a secret to the success, if there was that key, everybody would be opening it. Do you know what I mean? Like, there isn't that one thing that is guaranteed you success, but you've done it, man. Congratulations. Thank you so much. Enjoy your set tonight. Pleasure to meet you. Be safe, brother. Thank you so much, man.